The measles outbreak continues on here in the Lone Star State, but it may soon be coming to an end. Coming up, we'll have the latest numbers and details on where the disease is continuing to spread.
The end of the semester is less than a month away, and many end-of-the-year events are taking place across campus. MCTV's Todd Eldridge has a look at one of those events that celebrated the service of a couple of Red Raiders who suited up hundreds of times to represent the university.
The food industry is bracing for some big changes after an announcement from a federal agency, and one of the world's most well-known religious leaders is being mourned by millions this week after his sudden death. Kiley Phillips will have those stories and more in today's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues.
And one Texas Tech team is still celebrating after bringing home a conference championship for only the second time in program history. MCTV's Allie Scott has that story and a look at the action on the diamond in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Elene Khajishvili.
And I'm Madilyn Coyne. After almost 3 months and more than 600 confirmed cases, the spread of measles here in Texas is slowing down.
The outbreak that has been making headlines since January is still a concern, but luckily the number of active cases is much less than just a few weeks ago. The latest report from the Department of State Health Services states that a total of 624 confirmed cases of measles has been reported around the state since late January. Over that time, residents of 25 counties have tested positive for the disease, but no new counties were added since the previous report released last Friday. The West Texas area includes 21 of the 25 counties with confirmed cases. Gaines County continues to have the highest number of cases reported at 386, followed by Terry County at 54 and Lubbock County at 47. Those three counties are among a list of areas that DSHS has identified where measles is continuing to spread. However, according to the latest report, less than 2% of the confirmed cases are estimated to be currently infectious. That means that fewer than 10 people across the entire state could potentially pass on the virus. Just over a week ago, that estimate was closer to 30. If the drop in cases continues, the current outbreak could be coming to an end as early as the beginning of May. Health officials are still asking residents of affected counties to be aware of measles symptoms and to speak to a healthcare provider if you believe you may be infected. Here on campus, you can contact Student Health Services with any questions or concerns or to make an appointment. DSHS is also continuing to provide the MMR vaccine for members of the university community. For more information, call 806-743-2848.
In other news, it's Sustainability Week here on campus, a week-long chance for students to enjoy some fun activities while helping to save the planet. On Tuesday, the Student Activities Board invited students to head over to the Red Raider Plaza gazebo to put their creative skills to work and take home a useful keepsake. SAB hosted 2 separate activities from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., sustainability totes and t-shirt totes. Both options allowed Red Raiders to create a reusable tote bag to help reduce waste. Sustainability totes gave students the chance to grab a cloth bag and markers to design and decorate their own personal tote. On the other side of the gazebo, SAB supplied a stack of t-shirts that had been cut along the bottom so that students could tie them together and create another unique option to avoid using plastic bags. Both activities were free with a student ID. SAB's list of fun and free events for the spring semester is starting to wrap up, but there's still several options left on the calendar. To find a list of all the remaining events and activities, visit sab.ttu.edu.
Texas Tech's efforts to encourage students to go green continued today with another event to inspire students to reduce, reuse, and recycle. An outdoor thrift market opened up at 11 a.m. this morning at Red Raider Plaza. Local thrift and resale businesses brought in a wide variety of lightly used clothing available to purchase. Items including shirts, pants, dresses, hats, and much more. The event not only provided Red Raiders the chance to give their purchases a second life, but students also helped support local businesses that are working to help out the environment. Today's thrift market wrapped up at 3 p.m. this afternoon, but Sustainability Week continues for one more day, featuring one of the Texas Tech's longest-running traditions. Arbor Day 2025 kicks off tomorrow at 11 a.m. in Memorial Circle. The annual event includes free food, long games, and live music. Students can also pick up this year's official Arbor Day t-shirt for free with a Tech ID while supplies last. Then at 1:40, the event in Memorial Circle will wrap up and students will head out to plant flowers, trees, and other greenery to help beautify the campus. For more information on Arbor Day 2025, visit sap.ttu.edu and click on Arbor Day under the Events tab.
Your favorite food could soon look a little different. The United States' involvement in the war between Russia and Ukraine could be ending soon, and the life of one of the most well-known religious leaders in the world is being remembered this week after his sudden death.
Kiley Phillips has the details on all of those stories in today's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues. Kiley?
Thanks, Elene and Madilyn. A new federal plan could change the ingredients in some of America's most popular foods. Health officials are moving to phase out 8 artificial food dyes from the U.S. market by the end of next year. The Department of Health and Human Services and the Food and Drug Administration announced Tuesday that they're working to phase out petroleum-based synthetic dyes, including those found in cereal, ice cream, snacks, and even medications. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary held a news conference to announce the plan, saying it's time to remove these additives for good. The administration says it's already begun working with food companies, asking them to voluntarily remove dyes like red 40, yellow 5 and 6, and blue 1 and 2, but not everyone is on board. The Trade Group for Color Additives pushed back, saying the timeline is neither simple nor immediate and could lead to higher prices and supply issues. Meanwhile, states like West Virginia and California are already taking action, with school lunch bans on dyes set to begin in August of 2028. The FDA says it's using voluntary agreements instead of new regulations, but will use every tool in the toolbox to make sure the transition happens. While the timeline remains unknown, it looks like the way food appears in America could be changing fast. President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky remain divided over how to end the war in Ukraine, as talks continue between U.S., European, and Ukrainian officials. The latest clash comes after Trump's Vice President J.D. Vance says it's time for Russia and Ukraine to agree to a U.S.-backed peace deal, or the U.S. may step away from the negotiating table. The proposal, according to Vance, would freeze territorial lines close to where they are today and aim for a long-term diplomatic settlement. A former Western official says the plan also includes recognizing Russia's control of Crimea, a move Zelensky has continually rejected. Since taking office in January, Trump has pressed the Ukraine to agree to a ceasefire while reducing pressure on Moscow. Zelensky reaffirmed on Tuesday that Ukraine would never cede Crimea, calling it unconstitutional and non-negotiable. Despite the division, Zelensky expressed hope that talks among U.S., Ukrainian, and European officials would still bring progress with peace talks ongoing. Both sides face tough decisions, and the future of U.S. involvement in the war remains uncertain. Pope Francis has died at the age of 88, weeks after being discharged from the hospital following treatment for double pneumonia and other health issues. His final public appearance came on Easter Sunday when he greeted thousands of people in St. Peter's Square following Mass. Despite recent health challenges, officials had said as recently as last week that his condition was improving. Pope Francis was elected in 2013 as the 266th leader of the Catholic Church. He was the first pope from the Americas and the first born outside of Europe in over 1,000 years. Pope Francis was widely known for his focus on humility, social justice, and his outreach to marginalized communities around the world. Flags are being lowered to half-staff at the Vatican, and Catholics worldwide are reflecting on his legacy. The Vatican has announced that the funeral will take place this Saturday, April 26th. The service will be held in the front of St. Peter's Basilica, and President Trump has announced that he will be in attendance. The public has been able to pay their respects to the Pope after his body was moved to the Basilica to lie in state. The election of the next Pope is expected to take place within the next 2.5 weeks, followed by an official announcement from the Vatican naming the Catholic Church's new leader. That was a look inside of this week's issues. Now back to you, Elene and Madilyn.
Thanks, Kiley. Over the last 2 nights, the South Plains has experienced severe weather conditions, including hail, high winds, and even the potential for tornadoes. But so far, the city of Lubbock hasn't even seen a drop of rain.
And even though it may be dry outside right now, that could be changing again later today. Chief Weather Specialist Elisabeth Herring has a look at another chance of thunderstorms in today's MCTV forecast. Elizabeth?
Thanks, Madilyn. Well, so far looking pretty nice here at Texas Tech University. However, that could be changing as we head into our weekend. Taking a look at our last 72 hours, though, we have seen quite a bit of rain across the South Plains area. Spur and surrounding areas seeing up to 7 inches of rain. Other areas, mostly in the east, seeing up to 2 inches of rain. And hopefully we do get a taste of that here in Lubbock very soon. We actually do have a severe weather watch across the South Plains today. Lubbock falling under enhanced risk, so this does mean possibility for tornadoes, softball-sized hail, as well as 70-mile-per-hour winds. As we take a look at our future radar, we do have some chances for rain this evening. Some storms moving into the South Plains area. We could see some rain also potentially here in Lubbock this evening. As we head into Thursday night, early Friday morning, nothing but some clouds, and then we do see some rain begin to develop once again Friday early evening around 6 p.m. And that rain chance is going to continue as we head into Saturday. Spotty showers and thunderstorms as we head into Saturday afternoon. And as we take a look at the totals that this rain could potentially give us, pretty hopeful here in Lubbock. We could possibly see up to 1.5 inches of rain here in Lubbock. Some of the other areas getting up to 2 inches of rain across the South Plains, but hopefully we do see at least half an inch here in the Lubbock area. Tonight in the South Plains, low of 61 degrees. Tomorrow warming up back into the 80s, high of 81, winds around 13 miles per hour. Taking a look at this weekend, cooling off Saturday along with those rain chances, high of 73. Sunday back in the upper 80s, high of 88. Monday staying pretty warm as we begin next week, high of 89. Tuesday 80, as well as Wednesday, Thursday back in the mid 80s with a high of 85. Lows next week in the lower 50s to upper 50s. And with those severe weather watches, just to be sure to keep up with your weather apps as we head on to this evening and, of course, this weekend. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to Elena and Madilyn.
Thanks, Elizabeth. There are many iconic images that many people immediately identify with Texas Tech, including the Guns Up hand sign, the seal at the main entry of campus, and the north facade of the administration building.
But there are also a couple of larger-than-life characters embodied by Texas Tech students each year that may be more recognizable than everything else combined. MCTV's Todd Eldridge recently stopped by a pair of special ceremonies to put names with the faces of 2 iconic ambassadors for the red and black.
As spring graduation approaches, there are 2 other ceremonies that take place on campus that are both deeply rooted in the school's image, spirit, and traditions.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are so happy to have you here. I am Christy Chadwell Short, the 49th Mass Rider, and welcome to the 2025 Transfer of Reins ceremony.
Texas Tech's 2 iconic mascots go through a changing of the guard before seniors walk for spring graduation. Friends, fans, and family gather at the Merckett Alumni Center to attend each historic changeover. And the students who donned the mascots' identities for the previous semester reflect on their service.
Okay, as Sydney, as you pass the gun to Raider Red, you are symbolically passing the privilege as well as the honor of being Raider Red.
I will forever be grateful that this opportunity found its way to a shy girl with big aspirations.
But this past year, it's been full of those sparkling, childlike dreams, unplanned, unorganized blessings. The best kind.
As the senior students prepare to end their journey as Texas Tech's mascots, they received accolades, class rings, and multiple honors recognizing their tenure of service. And those ready to answer the call are well aware of the challenges ahead. None more so than Rose Rosas, the only first-generation Texas Tech student to receive the honor of being named the school's Masked Rider.
Representing Texas Tech as a Masked Rider is more than just wearing the cape. It is about carrying on a legacy that stood strong for generations. It is about tradition, resilience, and pride.
Now, those traditions are to be carried on as they are passed down to the next class and has been and will continue for as long as Texas Tech continues to stand. And so, it is with open arms that we welcome the two newest members to don the school's most iconic mascots. And it is with heavy hearts that we bid farewell to those who came before. But we know as they journey through life that they will strive for honor evermore. For MCTV, I'm Todd Eldridge.
Rosas, the 64th and newest masked rider, is a junior animal science major from Brady, Texas. Rosas immediately took over the role of mascot as soon as the ceremony ended, posing for pictures in her first official appearance outside the Mackenzie Market Alumni Center. Sydney Caro, the outgoing Raider Red, had 310 appearances in the costume over the last 2 years. She will be graduating next spring with a dual degree in biology and Chinese. Like all the previous Raider Reds, Caro served as the mustached mascot anonymously for the duration of her tenure, and Friday was the first time she could tell fellow students about her time under the mask.
1 week ago, the Texas Tech baseball and softball teams were preparing for another night of action as they took on their latest Big 12 opponents in Arizona.
Both teams are back home this week, but MCTV's Allie Scott has a look back at each team's most recent action as they prepare for another conference showdown, this time here in the Hub City. Allie?
Thank you, Elena and Madilyn. What a weekend. From battles in the desert to historic milestones on the court and diamond, the Red Raiders brought the fire across the board. Let's dive in. It was a fight in the desert as Texas Tech baseball lost the weekend series to the Arizona State Sun Devils, and despite relief from senior pitcher Trendon Parrish, the Red Raiders came up short in a 10-4 loss against the Sun Devils on Thursday. Things got rocky when Tech starting pitcher Mac Hewer took a 111-mile-per-hour line drive to the hand, causing the Red Raiders to fall 3-0. But when Grant Boehm, Tracer Lopez, and Logan Hughes hit doubles to tie up the game at the top of the third, Red Raider fans were on their feet. But Sun Devils pitcher Ben Jacobs was locked in against the Red Raiders, and when Parrish answered back with 5 one-run innings to keep the game tied, Isaiah Jackson hit an RBI single to give the Sun Devils the lead. Tech's Robin Villeneuve then had 1 RBI to get Tech within reach, but a 3-run homer by Josiah Cromwick led the Sun Devils to their first win of the weekend. Thursday was a tough loss for the Red Raiders, followed by an 8-9 defeat on Friday night, but Tech fought back when they secured a 12-8 win on Saturday. Behind 8 strong innings was junior Zane Petty, who had a powerful display on the plate as the team defeated Arizona State. The Red Raiders smashed 6 home runs from 5 different players, including 2 towering shots from Davis Rivers, fueling their offense. Petty bounced back after a shaky first inning, taking out 10 straight batters while becoming the first Tech pitcher this season to complete 8 full innings. Texas Tech also had a 2-run home run from Hughes in the first and then never looked back as they built their lead with big swings from Lopez, Rivers, Damian Bravo, and a late homer from Peyton Schulz. Schulz capped off the day 4 for 5 at the plate. With this win, Tech moves to 12-23 on the season and will face off against the University of Arizona Wildcats in this weekend series back here at home at Dan Law Field. Texas Tech softball incredible 11-game winning streak came to an end as the Red Raiders fell 2-1 in a top 15 showdown on Thursday night, but the comeback was not far behind. The action came early as every run was scored in the first inning during Thursday's game against the University of Arizona Wildcats. Tech struck first when Maya Davis and Haley Toney got back-to-back singles, and a blue hit from Alexa Langoliers brought Davis home to make the score 1-0. When Arizona had 2 outs, the Wildcats sparked a 2-run rally capped off with a homer that barely cleared the left field fence. This gave Arizona the lead that they held onto the whole day. Despite this loss, Nigeri Kennedy was on fire. She threw 6 innings and struck out 7, crossing the 200 strikeout mark. The Red Raiders had some late chances as they had runners on the corners in the 4th, but they could not find a timely hit. Things then turned around on Friday and Saturday when the Red Raiders secured 2 wins, taking the series. On Friday night, Tech dominated 10-1, ending in a mercy rule win in just 5 innings. Davis had her 3rd leadoff home run, while Demi Elder and Alana Johnson each drove in 2 runs. Chloe Riazetto and Kennedy were lights out on the mound as Kennedy allowed 1 hit and struck out 3 batters in 4 innings. Langoliers reached base twice, while Lauren Allred scored 3 times throughout the night. On Saturday, Kennedy went into full force, throwing a 138-pitch complete game and closing the door on Arizona with a strikeout to seal the 5-2 victory. When Tech was tied 2-2 in the 6th inning, Allred blasted her first hit of the series to left center for a home run. Elder followed with another monster hit to take it 5-2. The Red Raiders are heating up at the perfect time and were red hot going into yesterday's game against the University of Texas at Arlington. Texas Tech secured a 12-3 victory win in just 5 innings, and the spotlight belonged to one person and one person only, Maya Davis. Davis showed off her skills, hitting for the cycle with a single, double, triple, and a home run to finish it off in the 4th inning. She finished 4 for 4 with 5 RBIs and one of the best performances we have seen all season. Tech wasted no time as they dropped 9 runs and 8 hits all in the first inning. Langoliers, Allred, and Victoria Valdez all contributed to the red-hot streak, and before we knew it, it was the end of the first with a score of 9-0. Samantha Lincoln tossed 4 strong innings, and Riazetto came in and sealed the final 3 outs in just 10 pitches. Moving back to Davis, she stepped into the box in the 4th, needing a homer to seal the cycle, and she delivered with a crushed ball over the left field fence. This also marked her 4th homer of the season. With this dominant win, Tech moves to 37-10 for the year and continues to build momentum as they head into one of the biggest weekends in program history. Arizona State is coming to town, and with the series win, Texas Tech can clinch its first ever Big 12 regular season title. If you want the chance to see this historic moment in person, plan on heading out to Rocky Johnson Field this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The members of the Lady Raider women's tennis team are officially the undisputed Big 12 champions. After battling through a 3-way tie in the regular season, Tech stormed into the tournament and took the title with a 4-2 victory over the University of Central Florida. Yekaterina Dmitrichenko was named Most Outstanding Player of the tournament. She went 3-0 in doubles, 2-0 in singles, and clinched both the regular season title and tournament crown for the Lady Raiders. This is Texas Tech's second Big 12 tournament title and the first since 2017. The team will now turn their eyes to the NCAA tournament. The selection show will go live on Monday, and the Lady Raiders will see who their next match will be on the road to national glory. From the mound to the net, this weekend proved that Texas Tech is just getting started. With the postseason heating up and momentum on their side, get ready for more headline moments. That's all for Texas Tech Sports. Now back to Madilyn.
Thanks, Allie. Real-world experience is an important part of many Red Raiders' education during their time here at Texas Tech. Various colleges offer opportunities for students to build up their resume before heading into their first job, including one unique facility just a short walk across from the main campus. Last week, MCTV's Aiden Bonda made that brief trip to see some Texas Tech students in action and discover a unique dining experience unlike any other in Lubbock.
The food's wonderful, it's a decent price, and we like the view.
Skyview's restaurant is located across from campus at the intersection of 19th and University. The restaurant is located on the 6th floor of Texas Tech Plaza, and it serves as a lab for the restaurant, hotel, and institutional management program. Students get hands-on experience while working the restaurant for credit. General Manager Gary Danhoff oversees the operation, including a special event that happens each week.
And on Wednesday nights, we do a dinner series with our seniors, and so that's where they actually design a menu, cost out a menu, actually design a menu, do all the marketing and all that kind of stuff, and then they actually work shifts, and then we rotate them through the different areas within the restaurant so they get some hands-on experience.
Danhoff says the dinner series gives students the chance to take over the restaurant and do more than just serving tables.
This semester, actually, the students design the menus, and we're doing 12 dinner series this semester. So it gives them the experience of having to blend items and make sure things go together.
Students are given the opportunity to curate full-course meals for the Skyview guests during 2 different dining experiences throughout the semester.
So we have 2 classes. There's a class that serves the buffet every day of the week. And then we have dinner series, which is basically like the final project, like a capstone for the seniors. So each student has to select a menu, and then they do the design, and people come in and they have like the appetizer. We have a couple of entrees, desserts, and it changes every week.
Danhoff says the experience offers more than your normal class, taking students beyond the restaurant space and preparing for their future.
It's all about relationships and being able to interact with people. So I like to think this class gives you some hands-on experience and hopefully some life skills that you can take with you throughout your career.
The Skyview's menu experience will cap off next Wednesday with their final installment featuring the Fiery Fork menu. For more information, visit skyviews.ttu.edu. For MCTV, I'm Aiden Bonda.
Earlier this week, news came out that Skyview's general manager, Gary Danhoff, would be retiring after this semester. Danhoff has worked in the restaurant and hospitality industry for close to 50 years, including the last 5 years here at Texas Tech. He has served as both an instructor for the RIM program and the general manager of Skyviews, helping Red Raiders prepare for their future careers. Danhoff has contributed to multiple stories for MCTV over those last 5 years, and we wish him the best as he continues on beyond the university.
So Madilyn, have you ever been to Skyview's restaurant?
I haven't, but honestly, I'm dying to go now. What about you?
Me too, I'm dying to go now too.
We should go together.
Yes. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.